In this video, I am going to break down the co-main and main event of UFC Abu Dhabi. But, more importantly, I promise to give you a clear and realistic next matchup for each of the fighters that fought in the co-main and main event. One of these fighters left more questions than answers, and I'll explain why in the end of this video. Let's start with the breakdown of Peter Yan and Marcus McGee first. Marcus had some moments catching Peter Yan with some shots, landing some nice leg kicks and really just landing some clean shots in the first round, and I would give Marcus that round. A side note is that Peter Yan did look very stiff in the shoulders, and I'm not sure whether there's an issue with his back or neck or what's causing it, but his guard was also very tight, not just his shoulders being up and tight as well. And that played a huge role in this fight. It was good for him, especially in round 2 when Marcus McGee would hit the guard and almost every single shot deflected off Yan's guard. I can't recall a single clean shot that Marcus McGee landed in the second round. And Peter Yan just started cracking him and with shots and followed up with combinations and landed a lot of clean combinations and shots towards the end of that second round as well. Overall, it was a very entertaining fight, and I definitely had Yan to win that. It was vintage Yan, man. He was really good. I understand there was some boring-ish moments in the end of the fight when Yan was just kneeing McGee's thighs, but McGee didn't even try and get out of it, to be honest. He didn't even try and gain any position, and yeah, it was just another banger from Yan, which brings me to who he should fight next. Peter Yan is on a 3-fight win streak against real contenders like Marcus McGee, who's been very hot recently coming through the rankings in the UFC, and there's also Song Yadong as well. If the UFC wants to do Merab versus Umar, for some random reason, even though Umar's on a 1-fight win streak, I think, not even, that would just be completely stupid for them to make that. But if they would do that, I would say Peter Yan should wait it out. Or if they do Pantoja versus Merab, I still think Peter Yan is next in line, unless he really wants to stay active, which is completely respectable. But Pantoja versus Merab would be a very good fight, and I would be happy to see Peter Yan stay out and wait for his turn after that fight. But I do think he should get the title shot next against Merab. Moving on to McGee, I think he should fight someone like Rob Font or Henry Cejudo, who hasn't done much recently, and Henry's lost a couple recently, and that would be a big name for McGee, a big opportunity, and he's 35 years old after all. He wants those big paychecks. Cejudo's a bit older too, if I'm not mistaken, so let's make it happen. Now for the main event, Robert Whittaker versus Reina de Ridder. I had the fight a very clear 48-47 to RDR. I don't agree with people saying otherwise, because RDR clearly won by damage in rounds 2, 4 and 5. I know people saying that Robert Whittaker outstruck him in round 5, but RDR put him in the clinch a lot and landed a lot of strikes in the clinch, and those matter. Those and all of those strikes that he did in the clinch add up way more than Robert Whittaker's 3 significant strikes, or however many he got in that 5th round. And I do like Robert Whittaker. He is one of my favourite fighters to watch, but man, I don't think that's robbery. Robert Whittaker did have some good moments in the first round. I think he popped his jabs, and I noticed straight away that he was barely missing shots that would have been nasty if they landed early, especially when he still had his cardio before he got viciously kneed to the body. And the biggest thing that I noticed that was really weird and that I question about RDR is why he looked so scared and awkward when Robert Whittaker would try and engage at him. Every time he tried to engage at RDR, he would back up and he would close his eyes and tuck his chin to the side. It was really weird. I've not seen that from a high-level MMA fighter in, forever, unless they're really hurt. But he was doing it since the start of the fight. It was really odd. I was wrong about my pick in my last video. I said Robert Whittaker would win by TKO or KO in the 3rd round, which I was so close. That massive overhand right cracked him. This does bring me to my next talking point in this video. When RDR grabbed the glove of Robert Whittaker, I think a point should have been deducted at least, because if you're close to being finished and you cheat to get out of it, like Shara earlier in the card, finding his hips, and then he wasn't close to being finished, but he cheated to get a cage grabbed, and he's done this multiple times before, and he cheated to get out of the takedown, just like RDR cheated to recover. Although it was only a few seconds, and I don't think Robert would have finished him. I mean, he's still got every chance to, and I think you should either be disqualified or a point should be deducted, which means that fight would have been a draw if the ref actually did anything about it. After that massive shot from Whittaker, though, RDR just kept pressuring forward, and he got the takedown in the third round, which was huge. That was huge for his recovery and just wearing on Robert Whittaker. He was a complete zombie in the back half of that fight, just constantly pressuring, and those knees were lethal. They were nasty, and they even made Rob crumble in the second round. I thought Rob was going to be finished. I was clenching my cheeks, I'm not going to lie. As for Robert Whittaker, though, I think his role in the UFC is pretty clear at this point, and that is to test contenders coming through the rankings and to fraud check them. I do believe Rob's next fight should be someone like Roman Dolidze, who's on a 3-fight win streak in the UFC, and I think Rob's definitely capable of beating him and getting his mojo back. And Roman Dolidze's a little bit older too, actually. Roman Dolidze does have a fight against Hernandez later in this year. However, I think Roman Dolidze beats Hernandez anyway, and Robert should fight Dolidze anyway. Moving on to RDR, though, this guy's style is so unbelievably goofy and looks so uncoordinated, it's actually crazy. The thing is, though, you put him against decent fighters and top middleweight fighters in the UFC, and he probably wins with his style. Like, you put him against any of the bottom 5 contenders, and they don't stand a single chance against him. By bottom 5, I meant bottom 5 of the top 15. This guy is just a zombie, and he just doesn't stop going forward with his knees to the body, which are just outstanding. But anyways, I think I would love to see him fight Israel Adesanya or Amavov in his next fight. Although Amavov has his next fight booked against the fighting nerd, Baralho. I've never seen anyone pronounce it, so I gave it my best. But he's booked in September, so I think Israel's the only option left. RDR has beat big names in the division like Bo Nickel and Whittaker, so why not give him Izzy? Izzy wants a challenge. Izzy loves a challenge. He loves building his legacy, and why not get this win for Izzy? Like, why not give it to him? He would love to take this fight, I believe. And RDR is a problem, and if he beats Israel Adesanya, that is 3 huge names in the middleweight division. We are building a massive contender here if he beats Israel Adesanya, building a lot of hype. That's all I've got to say on this video. If you've made it this far, may as well give it a like and subscribe if you want to see more. Goodbye.